Welcome back to The Great Journey.
The Great Journey.
We are 6 friends dedicated to re-exploring the vast universe of the Halo, one installment at a time. We'll be covering the books, graphic novels, films, and of course the games, and we'll be discussing, learning, and reminiscing along the way. My name is James, and I will be chaperoning your journey this evening. Along for the ride are my fellow hosts, Jim, Robbie, Will, and Charlie. Tom took a leave of absence as he is mourning the ultimate demise of Dab Dab and Lighter Than Some. So we respect his privacy at this time. And with that said, we're going to do a moment of silent reflection. Last episode, we wrapped up our read of Contact Harvest, covering chapters 18 through its downer epilogue. In summary, the conflict rapidly ramps up between humanity and the Covenant, and fighting begins to decimate planet Harvest. Loki establishes contact with the defecting Lighter Than Some, while the coveted Oracle still eludes Macbus. Responding, Macbus. I like giving him a new name every single. Responding to the truce, the aliens are then deceived as the humans unleash a surprise attack and begin to evacuate the planet. Tartarus executes Captain Ponder and then confronts his compromised leader. The pair face off in a battle for the rightful chieftain, and Tartarus kills his uncle and takes control of the group. Now, meanwhile, Johnson battles in the Tiara, buying time to get everyone off planet as the new chief joins the fray. Dab Dab tries to protect his Urgok friend, but is too late. Lighter Than Some is killed by Tartarus' drone, but the grunt takes his revenge. He fires a supercharged plasma shot at Tartarus, getting killed in the process, but importantly dropping the brute shield in time for Johnson and his militia to turn the tide of the battle. With the humans evacuated, Sif allows herself to be destroyed to protect her sensitive data, and Planet Harvest is abandoned. On the Covenant home world, High Charity, the Ascension ceremony is underway. The conniving Fantium trio takes their place at the Prophets of Truth, Mercy, and Regret, keeping their covenant-breaking secret under wraps. And our favorite segment here. Last episode, we raised one pertinent lore question, so that means it's time for our sidebar segment. Actually.
Well, actually.
Is it actually or well actually?
The soundbite I have, it's like, well, actually, so I just did well.
Okay.
Yeah.
This serves as our chance to get any unresolved questions answered and or correct anything we might have said in error. You should know, we are learning as we go along and strive to get the facts straight. So our first question is, what was the initial oracle on Planet Harvest, highlighted by the luminary at first contact and the lure that brought Macbus to his eventual demise? The answer? No one knows. Seriously, nowhere on the internet can we find any definitive answer to the blanket MacGuffin. It's highly suggested that it is an AI like Loki, but if so, why wasn't the Oracle seen in either the Tiara, so Sif's data center, or the Harvest reactor complex, which housed Mac and Loki's data center? The best answer that we can come up with is that because Macabus confirmed the location of the Oracle at first contact being, quote, originating from the garden's white metal structure, and considering that Loki, in the form of Mac, was present in the Capitol building for this exchange, that, in fact, the Oracle was Loki. Again, never mind that somehow Mac/Loki was more, quote-unquote, Oracle than Sif. Anyway, as we've said before, we don't claim to be Halo lore experts here, so we humbly turn it to you, our highly knowledgeable listeners, to tell us if we're on the right track or completely crazy. Let us know your thoughts on this, please. We would love to kind of write this down and chisel in the stone.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
Yes, we do.
It's eating me away.
Now, on to our regularly scheduled programming. Tonight we get graphic, more so a graphic novel. We cover the comic Collateral Damage, written by Alex Irvine and illustrated by Dave Crossland. We will be splitting things up into 3 parts, one for each comic issue released. So that brings us to issue. Go ahead.
Before we start out, I just wanted to, bring up the writer, Alex Irvine. We'll talk about him for a quick second. He's a prolific writer. He's written more than 30 books, which include his own fiction novels as well as licensed work for Marvel, Hasbro, Warner Brothers, and Blizzard. So some big names there. He's written other comics for Daredevil, Iron Man, Rapture, Hellstorm, and Son of Satan. You comic book readers might know some of those. I only know a few. Anyway, Alex's contributions to the Halo canon include a short story included in Tales from Slipspace, which is a collection of short stories, I believe. And he's written a comic for another issue of the Rise of Atriox series. We'll cover that later. And he did some writing for Halo 2's promotional campaign called I Love Bees. Yes, I Love Bees, which we will, of course, be covering when we get around to Halo 2. So he's done other stuff for the Halo community, and we'll be seeing him later.
Thank you for sharing those facts and notes with us, Charlie.
Yep.
So now on to issue 1 of Collateral Damage. The comic opens on board the UNSC cruiser Persian Gate as Dr. Halsey leads the Spartan group into a memorial for deceased Spartan Samuel 034. Although his death shows that Spartans aren't invincible, it has also proved that the Covenant can be beaten. Commander Yao briefs Blue Team on their next urgent mission to battle the attacking Covenant parallel to Marines that are under siege on planet Alpha Corby 2. So Blue Team is deployed to defend a site called Black Reef and find out why the Covenant are targeting it. They're provided with some mjolnir suit upgrades and told that although there will be no Marines there, they may run into insurrectionist militia fragments. As they near the surface, they come under fire from rebels, but instead of annihilating them, Jean goes invisible and sneaks behind their position. He takes their leader, Whitaker, hostage and works to convince the group to fight together against their new common alien enemy. The militia sweep around the Covenant forces and open fire, pushing the aliens into the waiting Spartans. So as the group battles it out, John notices that the Covenant are transporting something and wants to gather further intel. The Covenant retreat into an underground cavern complex, and Blue Team pursues while the militia group protects the entrance. As the teams separate, the militia faces off against a new wave of Covenant reinforces, protecting the Spartan team below.
Cool. So we'll kick it off. We pick right up after Spartan Sam's death. Obviously, they're having this memorial and shooting a casket off into space, even though I don't think there's much left of him. What's in the casket, Halsey?
Yeah, I was gonna ask what's. I thought he just got blown up.
Yes, he did. But it's a nice gesture, closure for the Spartan.
Or is it just like some extra armor, maybe? Yeah, sure.
Ceremonial.
Yeah.
I mean, also at this point, this wouldn't be their first Spartan killed, right? Or their first Spartan death.
Most of them died along the way, right?
I mean, yeah.
It's going to be a well actually moment, but I'm gonna stake my reputation on it.
Nice.
First full Mjolnir Spartan popped.
Yeah.
I do believe. I think you're right on that.
I was a little confused by the suit upgrades here.
Right.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Because we don't see them in the games, right? At least not in the early games. I think it's simply just something to add a little zazz to the comic. That's the only thing I can really come up with here. I mean, they all use them at some point. Maybe that pushed the story a little bit forward. We'll get there, as we talk about the comic. But like ultimately, I think it was just an important add to this specific comic. I don't know.
Does this comic come after Reach? Was this written after Reach? I'm just curious.
Harvest.
Well, I mean, like in our timeline.
Oh,
like was this written after the game Reach was released?
I think this was written in 2018, right?
Yeah, this was a 343 edition.
Oh, it's pretty recent.
Okay. Yeah, it was after Reach and Contact Harvest and all that. So
yes,
there's also something that's not consistent with the timeline with the Fall of Reach, because clearly they're fighting elites. And if you guys remember in the book, Fall of Reach, that's when they just when they go to purge that one ship, the Circumference, I think that's when they run into their first elites, right?
Yeah. According to the book,
Nice.
right? And we kind of brought that up when we talked about it. Was like we were surprised that it took like 20 plus years for Chief to run into elites, where this is happening in 25, I think, and he's running into elites. So that was definitely a retcon or something that doesn't work. So good catch, Will.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can't really rewrite history, right? So we can't rewrite the Reach books or lore there. But yeah, it just suit upgrades are just interesting to throw in here. It adds for a little bit of funny things to it, right? To me, the suit upgrades are like only giving them stuff that they've almost taken from the Covenant, right? Like the invincibility slash camouflage cloak. That's very, in my opinion, very Covenant technology focused. So I find that interesting that technology now exists um, shortly after the fall of Harvest. But so be it. It adds to the story as we're gonna find out. I also find the interaction with the rebels slash insurrectionists funny. Um, when I got the page of like, they're like, let's just annihilate them. And John's like, I got a better idea. And like, I didn't expect him to just go in there and like try to convince them to fight the Covenant.
Yeah, you gotta think that his entire upbringing was basically like these militia guys are spawn of Satan, and he exists to eliminate them. And then we see him interact with this group of militia guys, and he's just like, "Yo, be friends." Like it's
Yeah, I'm
definitely a
not sure
180.
it worked for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure it
Even
worked for me.
I know, even the part where it's like, "You can call me John," and they're like, "I thought you all go by numbers." If as if, like, they know about the Spartan program. Like,
Yeah,
if the
right. It's just
Marines,
super top secret
like
program that just had its first
yeah.
mission.
That's another point I was gonna raise up is comic deliberately like multiple times said we're gonna deploy blue team away from all these Marines. You know, like they can't be seen together. They're not supposed to know you exist. And then you get dropped in, and the insurrectionist dudes are like, "Yo, Spartans, like you guys are
Oh
supposed to be
shit,
no,
Spartan.
yeah, like, like come on now."
yeah, because like, even when they did their mission to capture the one was he their leader or their captain?
Watts, yeah,
Watts,
yeah.
Yeah.
Watts.
Yeah, because they bring it up here too. They weren't in Mjolnir armor, right? They were
No, they weren't.
No, they
yeah, they
weren't.
were
Yeah, they
like
didn't get that till later.
so like, why would anyone even know that, oh, these because they kind of I think they mention it when it cut to when they were getting fired upon, it cut to an insurrectionist, and they were like, "Did you see the armor on that?" And like, "What you talk?" I don't know. It kind of lost me
Well,
there.
I also thought it was weird that the chief brought up, like, remember Waltz, like, your leader that we fucking kidnapped
Yeah,
and then extracted all the
that was us.
all these. Yeah, that was us. So, let's work together.
Let me
That
let me
it just
let me
doesn't
tell
work
you
for
more
me at
secret
all.
operations we've done.
I don't think that would, entice them to work with you.
Totally best friends.
And I also don't think these guys, like, their planet's getting invaded and they're gonna shoot at some Marines, like the insurrectionists. I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like that doesn't make sense either.
Feels like they wouldn't need convincing. Like, okay, you're human, I'm human. Let's just kill these weird alien creature things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and so this is December 2025, right?
Yes.
Didn't Harvest go down in
25, but yeah.
February? Okay, so that also doesn't line up, right?
Oh no, it would. Harvest
February of what year?
25 was early in the year. And then this is later in the year 2525. So yeah, humanity has run into the Covenant.
Oh, I'm dumb. Yep.
He talks
Sorry.
about Harvest being already destroyed. So yes, Harvest. This is right after Harvest in the same year, basically. Timeline
Yeah,
wise.
you're right.
Militia
Well,
dudes aside, or clunky writing aside, I suppose, is that this is the first instance where we see militia, at least in our read so far, in what we've covered. This is the first instance where we see militia like kind of be the good guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a turn where you can kind of humanize these militia troopers. So
yeah. No, yeah, I get it. Like, I understand that. It's just the interaction of it was very funny. John trying to, make new friends, okay? It's a new planet. He has no friends
They're
yet.
they're about like 15 years old, right? In
Yeah,
this comic.
yeah. I was gonna say they make them seem way older than they are.
John's like, "Yo, give me a gamer tag, bro."
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
All right. Now we're moving on to issue 2 of the comic. So Blue Team proceeds underground while Militia fights off waves of invaders. The rebels are able to destroy some spirit dropships with rockets and begin to target the elite quote-unquote officers. Meanwhile, Blue Team converges into a group of Covenant, and although they attempt active camouflage, they are outnumbered and retreat further into the maze of tunnel. There is a switch of perspective to a group of elites who are now suspicious of the power these new human soldiers bring. When just then, Blue Team bursts into their cavern. While the Spartans fight below, the militia above is now in danger of being overrun. With the Covenant determined to force their way into the mine, Whitaker orders his crew to blow the entrance. It would trap Blue Team below, but keep the alien reinforcements from their objective. A massive explosion rocks the mines, and Blue Team recovers from the blast. Then they realize they lost contact with Spartan Linda. Back on board the UNSC Persian Gate, Commander Yao is pushed for time. He threatens Halsey that if they do not complete their mission soon, they will be left behind. However, as reports continue filtering in that the UNSC are suffering major losses, Yao relents. He orders an evacuation. Back on the planet, the militia continues to take a beating. Needing heavier firepower, Whitaker changes tactics and heads for a nearby beach. Meanwhile, Linda tries to rendezvous with Blue Team, but all alone ends up running into a large group of Covenant.
Nice. You get a comic name drop here in section.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the militia guys. They're talking about just blowing the entrance, and Whitaker's like, "Well, if we do that, we're gonna trap the Spartans down there." And then the one militia guy's, "Well, that's collateral damage, like, oh, sorry, that's battle sort of thing."
I want to say that I really love the art style
Yeah.
in this comic, especially the way they draw the elites is so cool. They use a lot of different armor designs from like the various games. I think it's just so cool looking.
I'd agree. All the alien, like, they have jackals in here. I see they had some grunts. The ships, like the Spirit dropship and everything's really cool. The only thing that's still putting me off is faces of like the humans. They look really like cartoony almost in this.
Yeah. I think the armor that they're using is the same armor that they use in like Halo 5 for the Spartans, Blue Team.
Right. I'd agree with that too.
And for the elites, and I see the elites, yeah, I'm looking right now, they got like the Ultra armor from Reach. They got the Zealot armor from Reach.
Yeah, that's a good call out.
So they're getting,
Well,
they're picking and choosing, getting different armors and stuff from the different games and putting them in the comic.
yeah, because there are shots with grunts and multiple different armor sets too, which is kind of nice that they're adding in the different class levels or the ranks for the Covenant army. Like I'm looking on page 29, and we can see a normal grunt in there as it looks like John hopping through, and then you get another grunt and more elite armor. But yeah, the artwork I like. I do agree, Charlie, that the styling of the human faces is a little interesting.
Oh, and I guess real quickly touching on that, remember in the other comic we read, which was The Fall of Reach, basically after John's augmentation, we never saw his face, right? Which I think we all agreed was kind of a cool
Yeah.
little touch. you can kind of imagine what John looks like to you, sort of thing, you know. Whereas in this comic, we do get his face, and I guess, do you guys think that that's your Master Chief? That looks like what you imagine Master Chief to look like under the hood?
Oh no, hell no.
No, it's kind of off-putting. Again, the faces in this comic
Yeah.
are kind of weird, but
Not my chief.
Not my chief.
it's not my chief. Hashtag not my chief.
That's such a chiseled jawline. What are you talking about? Yeah, but I will say that the insurrectionist group are pretty badass fighters, apparently. So props to them for kicking ass.
Yeah, they're holding their own against all these waves and waves of Covenant.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I also like how I feel like John asked them to do this. I mean, we don't see it. I hope John kind of gave him some tidbits in terms of like, just so you know, they have shields and shit, and like didn't just like let them go into kind of figure it out on their own. But yeah, overall they did well.
Yeah, they even managed to blow up a troop carrier, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any final thoughts? Charlie, that last bullet point there, did that happen in issue 2 or does that come up in issue 3?
I was technically talking about issue 2 when like Yao is like, we're gonna get him out of there. Here, I have it right here. So Yao says issue a general evacuation order for all UNSC personnel on Alpha Corvi 2. Okay, blue team, and order them to provide extraction coordinates. And non-UNSC personnel, that's the her AI. She says, we'll see if we have room left. So basically, they're like, Yao UNSC commanders basically like, yeah, we'll see if we get them on board, otherwise we're going to leave them down there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good point.
maybe a little foreshadowing, I don't know.
Maybe. So that brings us to our third and final issue of the comic. Blue team fights their way to rescue Linda, finally able to hear her on comm. Linda, alone, is fighting desperately and evades capture with her jetpack. He takes a shot in the arm while separately Kelly and Fred take slashes from an elite's energy sword. The two groups converge on either side of a rock wall. Kelly sends her surveillance drone to the other side and locates their stranded Spartan. John plants some explosives while Fred locates a floating Covenant apparatus that Halsey would want to analyze. The Spartans blow their way through the wall and finally bat together, finish off the remaining Covenant forces. Their break is short-lived, however. They are now far underground. The cavern is filling with water, and worse yet, Fred's suit was damaged in the fighting, as well as the captured Covenant device. They plan to follow the flow of water up and out of the cavern. Meanwhile, a lone Pelican is holding out for their last-minute extraction. With the rendezvous still too hot, Whitaker and the remaining militia ride in and clear out the landing zone. A Pelican lands and Blue Team climbs aboard. However, in a surprise twist, the militia stragglers are turned away. The Pelican quickly departs, leaving the rebel humans on their own against a horde of angry Covenant. So in closing, Blue Team is furious at their betrayal. John argues militia or not, humans need to work together now. Halsey, unperturbed, states that war always comes with collateral damage. Instead, she asks what the Covenant were really doing down there in the mine. And we end there.
So we never figure out what they were doing in the mine, right?
Yeah. Perhaps the
Correct.
most
Still don't know.
Oh, it's the most egregious part of this whole comic is like
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be like Forerunner artifacts or something, right?
I will say that from what I've read research wise is that this leads into our next stop. We'll talk about that later tonight. So hopefully we do find out what actually went on, what they're all about. So yeah, it's a shitty way for the militia to be left behind. That was obviously lame in my opinion.
I thought the whole mission was, hey, we don't have a garrison protecting this town, Black Reef. Go down there, protect the people, and all that. Wasn't that the whole point of the mission?
No, the
And
mission for the Spartans, sorry to cut you off, was we don't know why the Covenant are going to Black Reef because there is no UNSC like military outpost there. Go figure out why.
Okay, I
That
misunderstood.
was the big part of it because they at this point, right? We still don't know why the Covenant are attacking any humans other than, oh, on Harvest they had, met with humans and had issues. But there was still no, like, the Covenant didn't go and tell Johnson and stuff, "Oh, yeah, we're here trying to find this religion artifact thing." So, at this point, we don't know what they're attacking, so I think the focus was, "Oh, they must be attacking military outposts," right? Or focusing on major epicenters, and Black Reef isn't any of that.
Yeah, I mean, you thought maybe we'd get a little bit of feedback from this object that Fred found in the comic, but then literally the next page, he broke the thing and he drops it. And it's like, okay, well that
Not
that
very
was almost
Spartan-like.
completely unnecessary to put in. Right? So what happens next? We still don't know what they're doing down there.
Also
Yeah.
seemed crazy. Seemed crazy to me how much ammo they were using throughout this. I mean, they're just like killing like hundreds of elites, and I don't even know where they're pulling the ammo from. But they just
That's a good
kept
point.
going.
That's a very good point. When they're in the caverns, like, eventually they have to run out. What guns were they using anyway? Let me look.
They had like a battle
Rifles.
rifle. Yeah.
And we can't forget all their cool functional mod, shooting like a keyblade
Yeah, that was.
and a jetpack because,
We saw the jetpack. We saw one frame of
Charlie?
forearm. It was like a forearm blade. Fred and Linda got them. So it was like one
Yeah.
frame of them shooting the forearm blade.
Yeah.
Everyone got an
Yeah, that's pretty-
invisibility cloak that apparently didn't work too well, as the Covenant like immediately said.
I think they all had
Yeah.
it. Didn't they all have the?
All did.
Yeah.
They used the detachable surveillance drone that John and Kelly had. Again, just one quick scene. Then they were down there and they needed something to blow the wall apart, right? And I'm like, what did they explode? What just happened? I mean, you could have easily written like, oh, one of
I
I know.
made
Well,
it.
there was a box of TNT down there. I guess I had to look in one of the lower frames of the comic. I guess that's how they explained it.
Yeah, he made like
Yeah.
a sticky mine.
I was like, you could have maybe just one of their cool gadgets, new gadgets, go gadget explosion, like that would have been just as easy.
Yeah. That's literally what I did. And they're like, Halsey will want to see this. Good idea, man. Yeah.
That breaks it.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Oops.
I get the feeling, the communal feeling here. What did you guys really think about this whole comic?
I actually enjoy. I didn't think it was the worst thing ever. This is the first comic I'm reading in such a long time, so it was actually kind of fun going through a comic.
You mean a physical comic? Because we read Fall of Reach.
Yeah, like a physical comic. Which shout out to you, Charlie. Thanks for hooking me up.
Got you, dude. It's interesting that there were ads like in the middle of the comic. Like you flip and there's like, oh, there's an ad for something.
Yeah, there's an ad for a StarCraft comic, which I'm totally gonna get. The part where Fred he has like a break in his armor and they're gonna go underwater. It made me think about Samuel because the reason why he couldn't really escape was because there was a break in his armor and he wouldn't be able to survive the vacuum of space.
Right.
And so when Fred's like, "Yo, there's a break in my armor, water's gonna get in," I was like, "Damn, it's like some deja vu for the Master Chief."
Right, I need you to stay behind. Well, that's I like that you gave some positives on it. I do agree. I thought the art style was mostly good. I guess I just can't get over the fact that the story kind of went nowhere. Again, maybe it does build up to our next stop. We'll see. It was just a downer ending that really, like I said, it felt like it didn't mean anything. So I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like this was an enjoyable read, but I'm not really gonna put a whole lot of weight into it. Just I don't know, just story just felt off to me, just like what we've been talking about. But yeah, cool art styles. It was a fun little short chief story.
They should have let the insurgents onto the Pelican.
Yeah, seriously.
Collateral Damage, bro.
We couldn't let the only people who knew about the Spartans live.
That's also true. Maybe that's
Really.
kind of a maybe that pushes the story somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just upset that we have zero idea why. Like this almost provided zero narrative for me. Like pushing any of the story along. Like, okay, cool. Just a little side quest for blue team. I also like at least on my digital version of the comic, the last couple pages where they're pushing the other Halo comics and stuff. I can get a replica UNSC Vulture ship for like $50. I think that's pretty cool. In the Spirit of Fire also for $50, like an 8-inch one. I think that's cool.
Nice.
Cool. All right. With our discussion complete, that means it's time to compete. On to the Season 2 PvP tournament. But first, a word from our sponsors. This episode of The Great Journey is brought to you by Odin Precision Chronometers, the only timepiece trusted by Spartans, ODSTs, and high-ranking Oni operatives. When you're playing side on a hostile world, deep in the void of slip space, or leading a charge against the banished, you need a watch as reliable as your mjolnir armor. The Odin Mark 7 Tactical Chronometer. This features titanium A3 alloy construction, super lightweight, indestructible, and resistant to plasma scoring. Comes with a hydrostatic pressure shielding, built to function at full capacity from the depths of an ocean world to the vacuum of space. AI link synchronization lets you seamlessly integrate with your onboard AI for mission timing, navigation, and encrypted comms. And we can't forget the biosync readout, which displays your heart rate, biofoam levels, and real-time armor integrity. And for civilians, the Odin Heritage series brings the same precision and durability, just without that typical uplink. Odin Precision Chronometers. Because even a Spartan runs out of time.
Done. Hey man, what's a banished?
What's a banish?
What's a banished?
Shut up, we'll get there.
We can't spoil it. Stop. No spoiling.
We never said our sponsors were part of the time, the slip space time we're in, okay?
I'm scared to know how much an Odin precision chronometer costs. At least 2 schmeckles.
You know what? We're gonna at least
Yeah, what's the currency in the Halo universe? Do we know? I don't remember if that came up in.
Credits?
I think it's just called credits.
Actually, Halo universe currency. It's called a credit.
Space
Abbreviated as lowercase c, uppercase r. It's the standard currency of the United Earth government as of 2558.
Yep.
The credit is still in use.
yeah,
What?
it's United Earth Government Credit, the UEG credit system.
This is interesting. According to Halopedia, you can buy a Spartan laser for only 218,000 credits.
Yep, to add a little bit more context, and this is in terms of reach, so that's okay. A simple meal on reach at this time would have cost you 5 to 10 UEG credits.
Oh,
A
it's
standard
cheap.
civilian spaceship ticket is 300 to 1,000 UEG credits, so similar to, flying nowadays. But, the big question is Mjolnir, our Mark 5 suit. That's going to be worth millions of credits, obviously, because why not?
Taxpayer credits.
So the question that was asked, right? Because I'm wearing my, Onin Mark 7 tactical chronometer right now. Spartan grade, of course. Mine cost mine's the low end model, so that's gonna be 75,000 credits. But they go all the
Damn,
way up to
dude.
150,000 credits.
Cha-ching.
But you know what? That Odin Heritage series, good entry level for the civilian. Those range between 20,000 and 50,000 credits.
It's still That's 1% shit right there.
I mean, it's on Mark. It's on. It's comparable to your Rolex or your Omega. So yes.
I don't know. The Odin Heritage series seems worth it.
Yo, James, did you
Oh.
get the Ungoy gray color scheme? Is that the one you got?
Uh,
I think it's saying Healy
Oh.
Silver, actually.
Oh,
I went mine with the elite blue. It also it has kind of like not really glow in the dark. It's a glow in the dark kind of like feel to it as well. Shines a little bit brighter.
Does it shine as much as the Cortana blue though?
Does not. That I bet you get that 150,000 credit price point up there. All right, folks, let's recap season 2, match 5. So Tom picked the Mac, but his game system of choice, the beloved Xbox, had other plans for him, and he couldn't be part of the actual match. Jim was on vacation, so that left 4 of us to fight it out on a sliver of space in King of the Hill, played on Herrick and Halo 3. Robbie is our John the Bully, because he held the hill and took the victory. And with that, the results of our 5th match are best determined for Season 2 as follows. James, myself, is up with 18 points, followed behind is Robbie with 12, Charlie with 11, Will with 11, and then Jim and Tom are fighting for that last place with 6 points.
fighting hard.
Fighting very hard to stay down there.
Do you get relegated at the end of the season?
Yeah.
You gotta play Halo CE Lego.
Yeah, there you go. Is there a Halo Lego? I'd play.
I think there's Mega Blocks.
Oh, even better. You gotta play Mega Blocks Halo.
Oh my gosh. So the wheel has spoken. Our next match selection goes to Will. All right, Will.
Yay.
What are we playing tonight?
We're gonna be playing a Royal Rumble or Free for All on Halo 2 on Ascension.
Nice. Look forward to that match. If you're with us this far, show us some love. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Great Journey Pod. We're on most major podcast platforms, and we'll greatly appreciate your likes, your comments, and follow on these platforms to help us gain visibility. I would love to hear everyone's response if possible. Were Whitaker and his militia's sacrifice merely just collateral damage? Let us know your thoughts. Feel free to give us your input on the media, the topics as we discuss them, and even the ideas on how to improve or what we can do next. As always, we welcome you to join the journey. If you feel like supporting us even more, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/The Great Journey Pod. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. With it, we can offset costs of hosting platforms, editing software, music, subscriptions, and of course the actual media, all of which are the things that allow this project to kind of keep progressing. We aspire to be an interesting, thoughtful, and fun contribution to the Halo community. As a TGJ Patreon member, you will receive a shout out live on our episodes, and should you choose, we'll answer any of your questions on air as well. So I have a host question I would like to present to the group, and it fits perfectly with this comic we read. Which Mjolnir armor enhancement would you want installed?
Obviously, the grappling hook spear thing that we saw.
It wasn't a grappling hook, though. You can have a grappling hook, but
The shooty
you want a
spear.
grappling? You want the shooty spear thing? Okay, cool. The key blade
Ninja stars. Woo!
ninja
Yeah, right?
made of carbon fiber, of course, to be even more futuristic.
Oh, I'd love to have the jetpack. That'd be so sweet. Fly
Oh, damn, I
around,
forgot about the
hover.
jetpack.
I was
Jetpack's
gonna-
pretty cool. What about you?
That's gonna be mine too.
I was gonna build on that, Will, and I mean this is gonna go out to any and all Titanfall fans, but like the combination like booster jetpack with the double jump is like
Yeah.
you can wall run and shit. Like basically Imagine Titanfall movement, but in the Halo universe. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The jetpack. Well, Robbie, what do you think? What would be your choice?
Oh, it would be the jetpack, and to expand on Charlie's, for anybody who experiences rush hour traffic, that would, especially today, personally, that would have been very useful to just fly over everything. Wonder what kind of range it gets.
That is a very good.
Are you stuck in traffic on 94?
They reduced from 4 to 2 lanes too, so
Oh yeah,
extra
it's
Those
awesome.
motherfuckers did that commute more than enough times. That's why I decided against it.
Get your Mjolnir military grade jetpack and hop over your worries. I see. I'm hoping that the enhancement is better. I would probably pick camouflage over jetpack. I feel like jetpack is cool, but if you're in a building, you can't do much. You're gonna hit your head. But then I can just sneaky deaky, be all sneaky deaky like with my camouflage, assuming that it doesn't suck the energy out of my Mjolnir armor. So high efficiency camouflage would be my choice.
What would you use your camouflage for?
You know,
Sneaking into the girl.
the thoughts that I was just saying the thoughts of what superhero what superhero power would you want? And
Yeah, that's like the question.
childlike thoughts come into my mind. No, what would you not want to be invisible for? I could rob banks. I could be all
Insider
sneaky deaky
trading.
like insider trading. All right, so we journey on. Next episode, we follow the early exploits of John 117 and Blue Team as they try desperately to turn the tide of the Covenant onslaught. Join us as we delve into Silent Storm, Book 1 of the Master Chief series, written by Troy Denning. We cover chapters 1 through 7. As always, thank you for joining us this evening, and we hope to see you back here in the next installment of The Great Journey.
The Great Journey.
Hey, it's Tom, one of your hosts here on The Great Journey. We hope you enjoyed the show, and if you want to connect with us, you can find us on most podcast platforms, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Great Journey Pod. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/The Great Journey Pod. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you for the next chapter of The Great Journey, The Great Journey, The Great Journey.
Are we all good to play?
I
Rock.
thought I was gonna be able to play. I just had my internet connection come back for like 5 minutes, and now it literally just went away again.
Oh,
Man.
So I can't join.
So Tom picked the match last week, but then his Xbox fucked up, so he couldn't play. And Will picks the match this week, and his internet's gone, so he can't play. This is weird.
It's cursed.
Cursed.
I regret getting fiber. It's been nothing but a fucking headache.
That's a different take.
I think the wheel to win to pick the next PvP match should be like the wheel of curse or something.
Wheel of misfortune.
There it is. Yes,
The wheel of
the
misfortune.
wheel of misfortune. That's
Wheel of misfortune.